Now, let me start off by saying this. Okay? When you play a team like Vanderbilt, a team that you were a heavy favorite to win against, it comes as a shock that you lose. Adding the factor that it's Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt has never really been that good at football. They had never beaten a AP #1 ranked team ever. This right here is, for a lot of people, considered the most embarrassing loss in Alabama football history. And this is also considered probably the greatest win in Vanderbilt football history. I mean, that's kind of what this is being played up to be. Now, the quarterback, Diego Pavia, he is getting a lot of comparisons to Johnny Manziel. And rightfully so. I mean, he won the game. And I mean, he's been able to go out and talk trash before and after beating Alabama. So, I mean, what do I see from this? First off, I saw an Alabama team that, quite frankly, just didn't seem like they thought about the fact that, oh, we need to go out there and actually win. They looked like a team that looked like, oh, we've already won this game. Why show up? You know, they overlooked this game. They overlooked the Vanderbilt team, which I'm going to be completely honest with you, okay? Yes, Vanderbilt they were on a 2-game losing streak. They, quite frankly, their losses are not great. But go look at their wins. Got to win against Virginia Tech at home. They got to win against Alabama now. I mean, I got to say this. Okay? Vanderbilt is not a team that you need to sleep on. Now, for that matter, what this proves, and I hope that these people realize this. This proves ever more that playing in the SEC, you have to show up every single week. Okay? And the same can be said for the Big Ten, because we're going to get into that here a little bit later in the show. But you've got to show up on Saturday and actually play the football game. You can't overlook anybody you're playing. And Alabama just got a taste of that for years. And I'm going to be honest with you. For years, Alabama has been able to overlook some of these opponents and somehow still beat them. Well, that didn't happen. That did not happen Saturday. Trust me, it didn't happen. Alabama, their defense did not show up. They played a Vanderbilt team who put up 40 points against Alabama. Okay? Alabama could not stop Vanderbilt at all during this ball game. It was evident. Okay? Another thing that Alabama needs to work on, how in the world, okay, how does the coaches on special teams put 2 players with the same number out in the field to get a penalty? How does that happen? You can't do that. It's stuff like that Alabama, it's not a shocker they lost this ball game. Now, the fact of the matter is they still had a chance to win this game at the end, but their defense, of course, didn't show up on the last drive. You had Malachi Moore, who decided that he was going to go throw a temper tantrum. So if you're Alabama, this is a terrible reflection on a team that was ranked #1 in the AP, and you lose to Vanderbilt after coming off of a win against Georgia. And let's be honest about this. Alabama, the last 6 quarters of football they've played, their defense has not shown up. So, for all those Alabama fans out there, I know you're sitting here saying, because I'm going to be honest. I live in the state of Alabama. I know what's going on. Okay, people in Alabama are fed up with the way the defense is playing. You got to play better. And if you're Kalen DeBoer, this is your wake up call. Okay, because let's be honest, you're in the state of Alabama. You're coaching the University of Alabama's football program, which has had Nick Saban as its head coach before you. All Alabama knows is to win. And let's be honest, if Alabama loses a couple more games, then in all respects, Kalen DeBoer could be on the hot seat if it's like a 9-3 season. That is how Alabama fans view this, okay? Alabama fans don't put up with losing. And that's the thing that you could, if you're at Washington, if you go 9-3, oh, you're doing great. But here at Alabama, that doesn't cut it. You're looking at playing for national championships. So, let's just dive into the stats here for a minute. So total yards, Vanderbilt, 418, 94. So, okay, before I say anything else, offensively for Alabama, it wasn't bad. Alabama's offense is the same Alabama offense that we've seen all season, and it's been pretty good. You look at total yards, of course, Alabama put 394. Passing yards, Alabama 310, Vanderbilt 252. Rushing yards, Vanderbilt 166, Alabama 84. And then yards per play, Alabama 8.8, and then Vanderbilt 5.6. And you look at the first downs, Vanderbilt 26, Alabama 17. Third down efficiency, Alabama 3 of 7, Vanderbilt 12 of 18. Fourth down efficiency, both teams 1 of 1. So here's the glaring thing here too. Vanderbilt they ran 75 plays on offense to 45 of Alabama. Okay. Vanderbilt punted two times, same as Alabama. Alabama had 6 penalties for 57 yards. Vanderbilt 3 for 20. Alabama had a fumble and an interception. Vanderbilt had the ball 42 minutes and 8 seconds to 17 minutes and 52 seconds of Alabama. So that's just team stats. You look at some of the player stats, I mean, it's not bad, but if we're going to be honest about the way that these two teams played, at the end of the day, Alabama's defense could not get off the field. And then when you look at it, Vanderbilt just took advantage of it. Vanderbilt's offense, I mean, you got to give them credit. They played a good job. They did a good job against Alabama, and Alabama and Vanderbilt won the game. It's as simple as that. And I think, and going back to it, if you look at this, like I said, for Kalen DeBoer, you hadn't lost yet. But now that you've lost, now you see the ugly side. So we'll see what Alabama does, and you'll see where I have them in the rankings. I still think Alabama is when you look at talent-wise, they've got probably the best team in college football with the talent. But it all comes down to what is your attitude going into a football game. Okay? So that's all I got to say about that. So let's move on